welcome to Hotspur Way, season... I'll put an at there, do you see that? Season 2, episode 6. Say hello, Hannah.
Hello.
Todd.
I'm allowed on today.
Yeah, you are.
I got permission.
I love how the ball and chain is just so reversed in this scenario.
Oh, it's so
It can be
stupid.
more reversed.
I've literally seen a comment, does your fella know you're here?
Hannah has to sneak out of the house and just sit in
My
a little
own house.
Tesco car park because you come on and record each night.
I'm just like a little podcast gypsy sitting in my Alpha at the back of the car park. That's crazy.
Right, do you want to... Joe, do you want to say hello?
Hello, Joe. How we doing? Yeah, good to be on with you guys. I appreciate the invite.
No problem. Right, so we found the token American, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty bold. On a yank, I usually get quite a bit of pushback, especially on X or Twitter or whatever it is, that I have no ball knowledge because I'm a yank.
Your tweets say otherwise, mate. I have to say that. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, I come from a long lineage of Spurs supporters. My brother was English. My mom was English. My brother was born in Edmonton, so it's sort of in the blood. I've been supporting for 30 plus years now.
Wow. So,
Proper quiz.
Hannah, the first question we're going to read out is from George. Don't follow 1882. Does your fella know you're here?
Yeah, fuck off. He does now. He didn't until about 5 minutes ago.
And what's he saying? Is he there?
No, he's not actually here.
Oh.
But yes, I am actually allowed on. Can I just say something? Yeah, I haven't been on because I've been ill, and I find the lack of sympathy really concerning.
Absolute bollocks on a... We know the real reason, we just can't say it.
Well, he's only coming on because her boyfriend's back to school tomorrow, so he's got to have an early night.
Fuck off. Dickhead. Oh yeah, hi Joe.
I love it. You guys just keep fucking doing what you're doing so I can learn more about you.
Just keep going at me.
There's
That's how I heard that.
there's not much to know, mate. I mean, that's it, really. Has Hannah muted herself because her rape alarm's gone off?
Fuck
Oh no, it's back. It's back again.
I wanted to
Alright.
rape.
What is that beeping? Is it only me that can hear it?
No, I hear
Any
it for
beeping?
sure.
I
Yeah.
can't hear a fucking thing, to be honest.
No.
Right, okay, so on the running order, we have Newcastle. What else? What's the other one? Hold on. We've got a running order somewhere. We do. Here it is. I really should have prepared. 1 minute. I've just gone past the hairy vag. Let's just go up a bit more.
It's not mine. Before anyone says anything.
Where's the running order? Oh, yeah. Newcastle, transfer window, and Anthula. So let's start off with Newcastle. Joe, you watched the game, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And what did you think?
Oh, man, just another frustrating result. Obviously, first half, we looked bright. Second half, I thought we were even better. It just comes down to, I don't know if it's the fact that Romero and Dragoshin had not played together, and they're figuring out that high line together. But we still have the same problems that we did with Van de Ven. And the fact that we rely a little bit too much on his speed to cover the ground. It's just almost suicidal defending when you depend on the back two. And it's quite worrying to me that we still don't have that number 6 placement in there to help drop back into a back three. So going forward, obviously, we need to be more clinical. I don't think it's personnel. I think it's just continuing to grow that front line. But overall, I see a lot of progress. I see a lot of progress going forward. Obviously, the results aren't what we were looking for, but you know, it was a good performance. Let's just leave it at that.
They're gonna accuse us of finding another happy clapper, aren't they? That's
You know it.
yeah. That's just the problem.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, definitely. Look, before I get onto my points, Hannah, what about you? And then we'll go on to Todge.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Fuck's sake. Comes down to.
Hey!
Yeah, there you go.
Here she is.
Back with a bang.
I wish. Comes down to just not putting away our chances, because there were plenty of them. There were like 20 shots or something, right?
Yeah.
I did think it's a little bit pathetic having 20 shots and not managing to put them away properly, but overall I'm just not that bogged down by it all. It's a bit like when I was on before and we were talking about you can't judge a season based on the first 10 games, so for now I'm not particularly concerned.
Todge?
Yeah, I'll just echo the same points, really. I mean, I didn't see the full game, to be honest. I was in the valleys on some random Welsh fucking mountains, to be honest. But I've seen some stats and some bits and pieces that have painted what I feel is a fair picture. Really like seeing highlights and such as well. I think it just looks like it's been a bit of a theme so far this season, and I just feel we're in a false position currently, and we're just suffering a little bit on like a little bit of a luck front, I feel. And I think there's one other club in a similar sort of boat in the other direction, and that's Chelsea. I think they've got, 3 more points than they should have. And for us, I think we've got, at least 4, 5, 6 fewer. You can't even have 6 more points, can we? We can have. No. We should have 4 more points than what we do now. That's what I'm trying to say, at least. And we've just been very unlucky, and there's been a few stats I've seen that sort of back that up a little bit. But I think the one telling thing from the weekend that I noticed is looking at sort of like everything as a whole, just our shot map. Everything seemed to be from outside the box, bar 1 or 2 chances by the looks of it. So what I would suggest from that, and without sort of really watching the game, I mean, it looks here we had 2 chances inside the 6-yard box. One was Brennan Johnson. I think that's when he sort of flicked it back across and he got saved for the own goal. Aside from that, there was only another 4 chances in the box. From when you've got 20 shots, it's not a great ratio, and it looks like a lot of our stuff was just lashed from outside. And I'm looking here, Pedro Porres had about 6 shots, and he only scores screamers, but it's not what you want ideally. We just missed sort of Solanke. James, I know you're not going to like this, but we missed Richie, that sort of present forward, someone to take that gamble, to just push that back line further a little bit and just make that gamble in the box.
Well, look,
I
mate.
see that. Sorry, I see that as a sign of change a little bit, because, man, the second half of last year and the first 3 games this year, or first 2 matches, it's like they won't shoot. Just take your chances. So I take a lot from the 20 shots in a positive way, especially coming from somebody like Son. I feel like he's just completely lost his confidence for those swinging shots, either foot from outside the box. He's just not taking it. And I don't know if that's the setup from Poach, Jesus Christ, from Ange, to where he wants our wingers to get down to the byline and put the balls across, which they did a fair amount in this match. You just didn't have that Solanke or Richie up front to take those positions, right? And I think that one where Johnson's getting blasted about not picking up his head, and he placed it perfectly in the middle of the 6-yard box, and Son had dropped off for a cutback. Whereas if he just kept going forward, that's an easy tap in. So I do see it as a positive that they're taking more shots. And I remember seeing Ange preseason last year, breaking down one of their preseason matches, and he was saying, I want these guys to shoot relentlessly. So for me, I think that 20 shots is a sign of good things to come, because we do have those Poros, we do have those Madisons, the Suns that can put those balls in the back of the net from 20 yards out.
Definitely. Right, before I get on to a few things, Hannah, you've shared with us, so Joe, you won't be able to see this yet. We haven't added you to our infamous WhatsApp group. We will, don't worry about it. Hannah, do you want to talk about the average sustained percentage?
Not particularly. I sent it and tagged James on purpose.
And on purpose, I asked you. So,
I'm honest.
Todge, go on, mate. Just walk us through what this is, first of all. Explain that.
Yeah, well, there's this graph and another one I've seen floating around recently. This one we're discussing is sort of basically saying the sort of sustained possession sort of stats, and sort of basically, I think, I'm not an expert, it basically reads as sort of the amount of like possession sort of sustained in like above 75% of the pitch, so in that sort of last sort of like, we'll call it that last like quarter, that last little part of the pitch, or in and around the box. And we are miles above the next teams on that. And so after that, you're looking at Arsenal, really Ipswich and Southampton, which you wouldn't typically expect, and then City. And then there's another useful sort of graph as well, that's about pressing intensity versus possession, which will sort of explain the former. And so you've got average possession on your x-axis and your pressing intensity on the y-axis. And so the lower down on pressing intensity you are, so the higher the number, the sort of less amount of times you press, and or the lower your intensity. And then on as far right as you go on the x-axis, that's your average possession. So we're in the top right corner for that. We can't get any higher in that metric. So we've got the sort of highest or lowest like average pressing intensity. So what that means is we press a lot more than anywhere else. And on the bottom axis is the average possession. And again, we're as far to the right as possible. I'm sure Josh will like that a little bit there. But that means we're possession, and it's been a theme. So what this and the sort of sustained percent is saying is we press a lot and we have a lot of the ball. So what that then means is we're actually defending a lot better than we were last year. And I think we're seeing that in the fact that the only chances we've really conceded from so far this season have been lucky breakaways. And we've just switched off at critical moments. We've dealt with everything else with no problem, but it's just been in those key moments, just those once or twice a match situations, we've just switched off and conceded from. And if we saw that out with the underlying numbers so far, we should sort ourselves out. We're pressing very well. We're retaining the ball a lot better than we were before. And it's just a massive improvement from last season.
Right, so I'll tell you what I've read, seen and heard on different podcast videos and news outlets is that Ange is telling his players to defend the way they are. That's one point that I've heard. I've heard that if we carry on playing like this, we're going to end up being mid-table due to our away performances. I've also heard that it's just too naive of Ange. And the last one is that there are levels. This is verbatim. There are levels because Ange has come from Australia, Japan, and Scotland, and you can play this type of football in those leagues, but you can't play it in the Premier League. I think that's all rubbish. I don't think for 1 second that Ange has told his players, listen, you shouldn't expect any team, any opposition side that we're going to face. That's obvious what opposition means, right? You shouldn't expect any team to play a through ball, and so you'll be all right. Do any of you think that he does that, like in training, him and the other 16 coaches that he seems to have at the club? That he sets them up to not be able to defend a simple through ball or a counter attack?
Obviously not. And I think from this game, again, I've not seen all of it, but there's been that odd sort of moment in the Leicester game where we conceded. It has been that just one lapse of concentration that at this level is always going to punish you, and it doesn't matter what opposition you play in. It can be in the FA Cup against sort of step 5 clubs. It can be in the final of a Champions League. If you switch off for one moment, you're going to get punished. It's just a cheap way to get a jibe at Ange, jibe at the ownership, air your frustrations, when ultimately you're just chatting a load of fucking bollocks.
Absolutely right. So
yeah, I think there's a huge onus on our midfield, not only to just press, but also be able to fill in those positions where Poro and Udogie are pushing forward, right? So I think that's probably why we haven't seen Gray yet too much, and maybe Bergvall as well. He's relying on the Sars and the Basumas and the Bentancurs, who have been in this system for over a year now, to take up those spaces. And late on in the game, when we're doing all that pressing, maybe they're just a little bit tired, and that's when they switch off. It's hard to tell because, with them bombing up the sides, our fullbacks. Last year, we were caught out so many times from the long ball when we were spread so thin and so narrow in the back, to where there's wingers that would have 20 yards of space out there. I think he's brought that in a little bit to where Poro and Udogie are not bombing up as much to where they can get back. So I think it's just a matter of time before these guys see the system working to where those switch-offs won't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Look, another thing which I've heard is that, when people who are defending Ange and the team, and they're saying, yeah, but if we did have a number 9 in there to convert some of these chances, some of the 20, we would maybe have been 3 or 4 goals up. And so, yeah, if we do concede the 1, it's not really that much of an issue. And they go, yeah, but you can't live off ifs and maybes. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at a true hypothetical. Is there such a thing? It's a paradox, really, isn't it? If you take a look at the last 3 games against Newcastle, the one where we did have a number 9 playing, we won. The last 2 we haven't, and we didn't win. And so that's it, really. Look, you can take it both ways. In that, what do you say? Do you say that, well, we can't play this way and we have to tweak the system? Well, I think there are tweaks happening all the time. I really don't think that we're standing still as a football club. And I don't think Ange, who is vastly experienced, is sat there saying to them, listen, guys, it doesn't matter if you just, you just keep conceding. Because that's what, if you take away, like the what's the expression? Take away the, what am I trying to say? Someone use telepathy. If you take away the nuts and bolts of it all, people who are saying, well, you can't keep playing like this, but he's telling them to play like that, then that's what you're saying, that he's telling them to play like this. I don't think he is. And I just think that it takes some time. I mean, he's been at the club for 1 season and 3 games. And let's go back to the percentage calculator. So if we were to take into account the 38 Premier League games, the 1 Carabao Cup game coming up, the 1 FA Cup game coming up, and the 8 Europa League games, what's that? 40, how many games? 48 games, right?
48, yeah.
Right. I believe that we're not going to play just 48. I believe we're going to probably play 60 games. And if you take it on that average, we've played 5% of the season and people are literally losing their fucking heads. And it's doing my head in. And I don't get it. And again, this is coming from people who should know better. And then you point out to them, you say, well, let's just take a look at other managers. Let's take a look at other scenarios. And how did Klopp do? Well, let's take a look at his first 4 seasons. He won a trophy after 4 seasons, right? And how about Arteta? And they go, no, you can't liken them. Well, why? Why can't you? Why? I mean, that's how we run comparisons, right? So you can liken them, and you should. And Arteta was eighth, fifth. We got to fifth, and I think everyone's forgetting the season we had before last. Do you remember how bad it was? It was the first time in my life where I said it on the pod where I didn't want to watch us. Like we were on the TV and I was just on my phone. I couldn't be asked. I couldn't be bothered. And so you can't say one thing and then when someone else says, well, let's compare, you say no. It's just not fair, is it? That's not how it works. And then I don't want to hear, well, life's not fair. Fuck off. Right? So the stats are pointing in the right direction. Joe, what you said earlier about Van der Ven, I don't think he's our best player, but he's probably our most important player.
Yeah.
Right? I really believe that. And when your most important player isn't playing, then yeah, you might have some problems. And when you don't have a recognised number 9 and the team is geared around that, then again you're going to have some problems. And you've got the haters saying, well, you should just adapt. What the fuck? You can't just adapt. Anyway, I've been waffling long enough. Any other points?
I think that that's a good point to point to the fact that Ange has a profile for each position that he's looking for. While everybody was screaming, "Oh, we got to go get Todibo," and then Van de Ven comes out of nowhere, and then everybody's bitching, "Who the hell is this?" And then he's
I want to know who Todibo is. Who's Todibo?
He's just like for West Ham now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. After a year of, I think he was in Germany. I forget which club he was with, but that was the buzz that everybody was looking for. During the off season, during the summer or winter transfer windows, everybody is ITK, right? Everybody wants the same person over and over again, but they have no clue if the club's even targeting them. Just like with the Odegaard signing, nobody knew that we were bringing in this young winger, but it's toxic positivity is the new buzzword amongst our fans, right?
I fucking hate it.
Toxic positivity. What the fuck does that even mean? And it's it's fans it's supporters like you that are bringing this club down. You're bootlickers. You're just trying to, give Levy your money, whatever the fuck they want to say. And listen, I was a massive Levy opponent for, good God, 18 years. And there was a lot of windows where we sat on our hands and did shit. And we'd bring in the NGs and whoever else were just shitty players. We had bad management. We had bad scouting. We're at the point now where we are bringing in names, we are spending money, but then people will sit back and go, oh, well, we're taking advantage of relegated teams. We're taking advantage of financial fair play. But they're not seeing the player profile that Ange is looking to bring in. And that takes 2 or 3 windows to even get that going. And then you still have to have time with the cohesion of the squad to be able to implement this revolutionary system that he's implementing, right? Exactly. So I think at the end of the day, the patience just isn't there, and we're just going to continue to go through this fucking rebuilding cycle if we keep sacking managers every year and a half or 2 years. And at this point, everybody has this PTSD, post-traumatic Spurs syndrome, right? Or disorder. And they can't let go of the fact that we haven't won a trophy in, 16, 18 years now. And it's almost like they want us to act like City and Chelsea and just throw money to the wind. But they don't want that. They want it, but they don't want it. Because they don't want us to be buying these championships and these trophies. It's an odd bunch. It really is. I helped build Colorado Spurs Supporters Club here in Denver. And it went from 5 of us in a pub to now it's over hundreds, right? And back then we could have conversations in front of people instead of being behind a keyboard. and we could actually say, listen, we need this person, or we need this coach, or whatever it may be. And now it's just knee-jerk reactions from our fan base.
Yeah, I don't know what they want. So, for instance, if we're saying that we have now gone down the data path when we're signing players, and we'll talk about, I think we'll cover this in the second point, right, where we talk about the transfer window and how we went with that. But if we're talking about going down this data-led approach, then surely the data works across the entire club. So we're then seeing, well, how are we doing in matches? And if we're seeing these little snippets of data which show great progression, then we know that there are a few things missing, and we'll get them sorted. And so please, everyone, stop losing your heads. We're 5% in. And if you're arguing, you say, no, James, you said 48 games. Well, let's do it then. Let's put the numbers into the calculator. So 3 out of 48 games is what? 6.25%. Wow. So you gained 1.25%. Well done, you. Okay, so 6.25% of the season, and people are calling for Ange out. They're blaming everyone and their mother. I don't get it. It was a game. Yeah, we feel shitty, right? I get it. We feel shitty because we lost. How'd you say it, America? Pop quiz, people. We're going to lose games, right? Just get used to it. We're Tottenham Hotspur. If you, I don't know why you support us. If you think that by supporting Spurs you're not going to lose any games, I don't get it. What is it you want? Okay, even if you want to support City and they lose games, is this how you're going to react? Really? I think the problem...
Our own fans saying, "Oh, Arsenal bottled the league," after one fucking defeat or in the third match, or one draw in the third match. It's those same knee-jerk reactions where there's easily swayed to frown upon our results as they are Arsenal now or Chelsea now. And it's almost like they get a kick out of being negative about Spurs instead of laughing at Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I think we've covered this one to death. Should we have won? Yeah. Did we play well? Yeah, we did. We didn't win. And it was by a silly through ball that we missed. Romero missed it. He was, I don't know, thinking about something else. What could I say? But then to go, oh, it's Ange's fault. No, it's not. It's not Ange's fault. We've got a philosophy. Let's stick to it. Okay? And let's hope that the owners stick to it. Let's hope that they understand this. Anything else to say?
I've got one more point, and that's I'd look a few hundred miles up the M6 to Manchester United. So I think there's a fairly comparable situation between two clubs where both were wandering, so a bit aimlessly for a few years, trying to go down the winner route. Wasn't quite working, and then hired progressive coaches. United a year before us, granted, but the bottom line I want to make here is...
Did you just call Ten Hag progressive?
Well,
is that what
it was more progressive than Jose. More progressive than Jose, I'll say that.
I don't know, mate. If I was a footballer, I'd rather have Jose in my corner.
Well, that's the thing. But I mean, we look at his Ajax side from that Champions League run, and
was that the one that we beat?
Sensational. Yeah, but they were playing some sensational football. And he's trying to do that here, but it clearly isn't working. But obviously, in their mind, that's what would be the case. But anyway, the point I want to make is they've won 2 trophies in the last 2 seasons under Erik ten Hag. But when you look at them as a club, they're still in the same spot. They still haven't really progressed from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Okay, they've got these trophies to back it up, and they've won the same amount of Liverpool in the same sort of time frame over the last sort of 10 years or so. But when you look at them as a club, they haven't moved any needles. They've not signed anyone intelligently. They replacing players on a regular basis that they only bought sort of fairly recently. it's just a mess. And I don't think any Tottenham fan, hand on heart, can say they'd rather be Manchester United with those 2 trophies now from the last couple of years, or Arsenal with a clear direction, philosophy, intelligent recruitment. Okay, we've not got the silverware to show for it, but we've got a direction that we're travelling in, and it's a very positive direction.
Exactly. Right, before we wrap up this section, do you want to say anything else? Joe, Hannah? Not Todd, you just said something.
Is Hannah still there?
She is. She's
She
just
died.
She's giving alcohol to her daughter.
She was getting the shakes again.
Yeah. So it happens from time to time with Hannah. I mean, you'll get to know her a bit more, mate, as time goes on.
There's different parenting styles out there. I respect it.
Hannah just said, "Can you tell Joe I think is a modern day Shakespeare from his spiel?"
That's beautiful. Thank you.
I'll send you a number later. So, transfer window. Should we take a look at the ins and outs?
Yeah.
By the way, I pulled up transfer market.
Yeah.
My OCD when I can't. I've had to like scroll up so I don't. Basically, what I do is if you press F12, who's rumbling around? If you press F12, is that you, Joe?
Sorry, you just made me think about vodka, so I had to make a drink.
Right. And if you press F12 on Chrome, and then you just mouse over the transfer marked, whatever it's called, and then delete element, their logo disappears, and I don't have to worry about it anymore, which is great. So, what do we see here? Right, ins. Dom Solanke, 65 million. Archie Gray, 40. Odeber, 30 million. Is that right? I thought it was 19, or was that his age?
It's a total fee. It's 30,
Right,
I
okay.
think.
Right. Lucas, I'm going to say his name how he says it. Berryval, 10 million. Bargain, by the way. Yang, 4. Is that it? That's what this...
Slanky.
I said that. You weren't listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Odeber.
to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's it, right, for the ins. And we have, on the outs, we've got rid of a lot of Deadwood, right? So, on the outs, we have Højbjerg. What's his name? Ndombele finally has gone.
He was released, wasn't he?
Yeah, finally. Lo Celso has gone. Oh, this website's so out of date. Right, and then we've got... Is Alfie Devine?
Skippy's gone.
Oh, yeah, Skippy's gone as well.
Skip went Roden, Tanganga.
Oh, yeah, Roden, Tanganga, Manor Solomon, Eric Dyer, Alejo
That was
Veliz.
January.
No, he was...
Veliz was alone.
But he was still on our books, wasn't he, Dyer? So he was actually let go now, you can say. Pedant.
Cess got released.
Yeah,
Well, ended
he's...
contract.
Basically, I think we've got rid of all of them apart from Regulon.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we've got rid of, what? That's quite a few million off our wage bill.
It's a big... I think it's about 25 million per year for the wage bill.
Wow. So we've done all right. Can I give you my points on what I think? You might be shocked. All right, Todd, you go then.
No, crack on, mate. Crack on.
Go on.
So I think that we needed to sign at least 2 players for the here and now, and we signed 1 in Dom Solanke. I don't mind that. I mean, why do I care? It's not my money, right? As everyone says. Archie Gray, 40 million. Let's just understand how the British or the English or Premier League transfer system works now. 40 is the new 20. Is that right? 20,
I'd say so.
Yeah, 40 is the new 20 million, right? Let's be honest.
Especially if you're an English player, you're a homegrown player.
Yeah. Like look at Kilman. West Ham bought him. How much was he? 40 million. Is that right? Kilman.
Yeah, something like that.
And what's the guy who they got from who Aston Villa got from Everton? What's his name?
Onana.
Oh, no, yeah.
50 fucking million.
He's
Wow.
very good, to be fair.
You think so? He's actually looking all right. To be honest with you,
He is a profile that would have been very, very good for us.
We did look at him apparently, right?
in
He
Emery's
did.
system, he works perfectly. You know, he's a ball carrying six that can just pipe down the field. Technically, I don't think he's that great of a player, but he adds a lot of physicality, speed, and takes up a shit ton of space.
And they play a high line like us, don't they, Villa?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's what I thought. I thought we should have pushed the boat out a little bit more and brought in a proper winger. I don't mind that we got Odegaard, right? The guy's played 2 games. He's looked decent, especially in the first game against Everton. I suppose Hannah would look decent against Everton. But look, what can I say? I have a problem in that we charge the most of any football club in world football for season tickets, for a match day ticket, but we don't then back that up with the investment where it's needed. And I do have this issue. Now, I wouldn't have this issue. I probably still would, but maybe I wouldn't have this issue if I went for a pint with Ange, or maybe a souvlaki with Ange, and he said to me, mate, we could have got Eze, or we could have got Neto, but they weren't my first options. The club had put them in front of me, and I said no. I would then have a problem with him. But then again, I'll be a hypocrite if I said that. But then again, every human being is a hypocrite. So fair enough. But I sort of would have said, I sort of understand it then. But we'll never know, really, will we, what went on. And I do have a problem with the here and now. We needed to try and improve not just the squad, but the first 11. And we did with one player. We didn't do it. I don't think that we pushed the boat out enough, and I don't think that the spend or the amount of money that the club is charging is justified. What do you guys think?
It's a difficult one. I think personally, Odegaard. Sorry, did you wanna crack on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, cheers. I think Odegaard is a signing for the now, personally, as well as Solanke, and I think Archie Gray will be in that conversation come the end of the season. Obviously, it's a long old season, and we're never really going to know until the end. But I will say to a point that I think it has been a theme for a good while, in terms of transfer windows, going right back to the sort of days of, Harry Redknapp, where we'd always just be that, or have that feeling at least, that we'd always just be that one player short. Under Mourinho, it was that we needed that really killer centre back. Under Conte, there was that left centre back, getting to a goalkeeper as well. Under Poach, it was the person who could rotate in for Kane. We never really got that covered, and I get a lot of frustrations. But I think what we need to remember sometimes is that, Rome wasn't built in the day, neither were these squads. And we're not the type of club, and as frustrating as it is, and something we never want to admit with the costs of the season tickets, the revenues we generate, I don't think, unless there was a new ownership or change of direction at the board level above Levy, we'll never be that kind of club to, look at a position and be like, right, we need this player, they're going to cost X, 9-figure sums. We're never going to do that. We're not going to do like what Liverpool did under Klopp, when, it was that, so I think it was their second season, they signed Van Dijk, 70 odd million, and then just missed out on the Champions League, and right, what are we missing? Goalkeeper, let's get the best one we can get. Bang, Alisson. We'll never be that club, at least in the current iteration of Tottenham Hotspur. I think we have to just be frustratingly patient, and let Ange do what he wants to do. Later today, James, we're never going to know what all the conversations were and why moves didn't necessarily materialise for certain players. I believe Dilfer Neto collapsed. They didn't accept our offer. Eze, I don't think a Palace would have sold after Elise going. And then by the same token, trying to structure a deal even with a release clause. I don't think a lot of clubs in the UK typically do that so much. I remember for Poro, I don't think we even use this clause. We negotiate a slightly higher fee to paying instalments, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I think we just have to look at it for what it is. And I think a lot of improvements have been made. We've got a lot of dead wood off the books that everyone under the sun, with the Levy out, Levy in, suck his labia, whatever you want to do, what everyone's been calling for so many years. I think it's been a very positive window. I do think we would still be better off with, someone to come in as another defensive understudy. And again, sort of an Elise type forward would be amazing. But I think we just have to see how the kids get on, We've got to give them that faith. It was the same on the Poach 2015, 16 season, where he had that first season, it was a bit disjointed. The next season, everything came together where we cut a lot of the players that the manager didn't want. Kabul, Lennon, Stambouli, Fazio out of the club, and they went on to great success. It wasn't the biggest squad, it wasn't the most expensive squad, but it's young, hungry talent that were eager to try and prove something. And I think that's what we've sort of built again now. And yeah, I think we have to reassess in January.
Yeah, no, great points. As far as the outgoings go, I thought it was fantastic. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. You got players that have habitually been out on loan in Lo Celso and Dombele. Lo Celso just can't be relied upon. I mean, best game in a Spurs shirt was against City last year. He puts in those performances. You can see it in the international level, but he's just not a squad player you can rely upon to be healthy all the time. So I thought that was a bold move, but needed to be made. As far as the incomings go, I liken what we did with Berraval, however he pronounces it, and Gray to Delhi, and us getting Delhi from MK Dons. And it took Poach 5 or 6 matches to implement him into the starting 11, and he just flew from there. I think with the extended amount of matches that we're going to have, Bergvall and Gray are going to play themselves into this lineup. I think by January, you're going to look at them as being 2 stalwarts in the starting 11. There's too much promise there, and they showed that in the preseason. And hell, by the end of the season, we may even see Lancashire and Mikey Moore being put into those Europa games, being put into those cup games, because they were honestly 2 of our best players in preseason. Granted, we were playing against Korean teams and smaller teams and whatnot, but it just goes to show the plan going forward and why we cannot just push Ange out the door all of a sudden. He's got a plan. We're buying players for him, and you can't. It's going to be a Conte and a Mourinho all over again. They're going to want to splash, or they wanted to splash for their type of players. Ange is doing the same thing, but we're going on a youthful approach, and I think it's something that we need to look positively. Listen, we may not win a trophy this year. We may not finish top 4, but if we continue to progress and show that these young players are the future, I think next year we're going to be on fire, or maybe even the year after. And I think a lot of the talk is just the lack of patience in our fan base. But yeah, Odegaard, I agree with you, Taj, that he's somebody for now. He was cheap relatively compared to Neto and to Eze to be that 1v1 winger. And you've seen it in his first 2 matches that he brings on a different profile than a Johnson, who just bombs up and down the field. He brings a different profile to Kulusevski, who's more of a pressing, ball-holding winger. He's one that will go at you. He's one that will get to the byline and put it across. Solanke's going to come good. You saw it in that first match, the kind of positions he's putting himself into. And there's no doubt in my mind that if he was in that Newcastle match, it would have been completely different. So it's not like we're not going after certain positions and improving at certain positions. It's the fact that we're also building a squad. And Ange last year said he wants to build a club, not a team. And this is exactly what he's doing. And I don't understand the relationship he has with Longue as opposed to what we had with Paratici. But I'm certain that with the fact that there's really no ITKs out there that know what we're doing, that those two are close together in their plans for Tottenham's future.
I completely agree. Hannah asks us a question on the group. Don't really have this happening. I think she's listening, but she's just, as we said, giving her offspring some alcohol. She says, who is Poach and who is Longue, and are they boyfriends?
I did not say that.
It's the poking the Longue, right?
Stand aside.
In the tall grass, yeah. I tell you what, after hearing that, I sort of have to agree, because I'll be a major hypocrite if I said that after giving the analogies of, well, look at what Arteta did, it took him this long, and what Klopp did, and then me saying whatever. But to back myself up, I still think one more for the now signing, and maybe you're right, Todd, maybe Odobert is that guy, hopefully he is. Like, man, I hope all of them are. But I think we just have to wait and see. What we shouldn't do, though, is after each loss, point to the transfer window. It sort of gets a bit boring really quickly. And a lot of fans are doing it right now due to the proximity to the window closing. I understand that. But there comes a point where we sort of have to say, this is our lot. This is what we have. Do you know what I mean? So let's just go with it. Any other points? Hannah, what do you think about the transfer window? I'm half here putting my headset on and off. That's a euphemism.
For fuck's sake.
She's pulling her headset on and off.
Well, that makes for a great podcast.
Oh, you've not listened to any of our pods, have you, John?
I dabbled for about 20 minutes on one when I
just couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't take any more. All right, we get it.
This is quite professional by our standard.
It is, right? Wow. I mean, we've like done stats and pulled up charts. I'm just waiting for Hannah to talk about Venn diagrams. She does quite a lot in her spare time.
Excel sheets up.
Yeah, she's just given us 10 points to Gryffindor. So that's it. That's the extent of this podcast. There you go. I'll tell you what. Let's move on to the next part, and I really want Hannah for this because this is like her segment. The next part's called Anthula. Now, Todd, you were involved in something on Twitter a bit earlier, a few hours ago. Do you want to just walk everyone through what happened?
Oh god, here we go. So basically, there was a bit of an announcement for away ticket pricing for the upcoming European season. What this entailed was essentially we were one of, I think, 3 clubs that didn't approve of a scheme to cap the prices for tickets, or like slightly reduce them for away travelling supporters, which, football clubs are businesses these days. The only real clubs that, to put it bluntly, the only real clubs that give a toss about the fans in that regard are your smaller ones, your ones in sort of like Turkey, Italy, fucking Tasmanic somewhereistan, those kind of clubs. And so I was just like, look, why are we getting so frustrated over something that, one, we're getting more money from the away fans coming in, which is good. That's what we like. And by the same token, and I didn't mention this because my notification has been a fucking cesspit since tweeting that. But, okay, yeah, our fans, again, we've got another sort of ticket price increase, but you're already spending hundreds on your flights, hundreds on your accommodation. Your tickets will probably be about 30 quid, 40 quid, roughly, if that. you're going to be spending another £200 on food and drink whilst you're out there. Not to mention the time you're taking out of work. So if you're that arsed about your season ticket prices, or your away ticket prices going up by probably, say £10 to £15 at the absolute most, you probably already have the money to afford it anyway. Or if you don't, then what are you doing going to those abroad games overseas? Make it make sense.
Can I ask a question? Just because maybe I'm a bit stupid. So we as Tottenham Hotspur are not raising the price for our own supporters, but for the away fans. Is that right?
So this is how it was put. So we were one of 3 clubs understood to have objected to lowering the maximum amount they can charge visiting fans in Europa League. So it doesn't even mean the prices are increasing. It just means the maximum amount isn't getting lowered. So say the maximum amount now is, say, £30 like it is for Premier League away games. It means it can't just now be dropped to a £25 maximum. It'll be the same or more. So there might not even be an increase.
But if there is an increase, who benefits? I just want to get to this point. Who benefits if there's an increase?
Wherever the club is, I guess. So away fans come to us, we would benefit, and then the clubs we travel to, those clubs would benefit. There's a benefit for all clubs involved.
Right. But okay, so I'll just because I'm really dumb on things like this. What you're saying is that if we decide to increase the ticket price of the away supporters travelling to watch Europa League games at our gaff, by the way, Joe is home.
I get it.
Right, okay. Then what you're saying is that we as a club benefit. Now, they might also raise prices, but we don't get to play those teams, do we? Right? We don't play them home and away. So my question still stands. Exactly. So we are benefiting as a club. That means more money, right? For us, not for me and you, but for Tottenham Hotspur, right? And we also have established that ENIC have never pulled not even one penny out of the club in dividends. Just to clarify that point as well. So Tottenham Hotspur, the club we support, is earning more money, and the Tottenham Hotspur, or a small minority, are getting annoyed. Is this what you've just said?
Pretty much. The thing is, it doesn't even say prices are going up. It just says the maximum amount that can be charged isn't going any lower. So the prices might even stay the same as they have been in previous years. So I don't get why this is all suddenly an uproar. All of a sudden, when it doesn't mention prices are increasing.
It's the same people who will sit and bitch about the fact that Beyonce is going to play at our new home, and we're not really concentrating on Tottenham Hotspur. And why are we having all of these concerts and NFL games when we're not even playing there? It makes no sense, does it?
But
fucking idiots. They're just fucking idiots, man. They're bringing in more money. Yes, James, they are, and I understood the facetiousness of your questioning.
I'm being absolutely facetious, and here's another facetious question for Hannah. Hannah, why is this podcast titled Anthula?
Okay, so this is more of a James question than anything. There was a bit of back and forth about this with James. James did ask if she had any more protests to organise and leaflets to hand out, as she was part of the trust that did fuck all for fans. So I find it a little bit rich when she jumps on things like this. This is another situation where people want to get uppity because something's benefiting the club as opposed to directly positively affecting the fans. It's not even a negative effect on fans. Like James said, the tickets may not even go up in price, but it's because it's not a direct benefit to your average paying customer that's why they're angry.
Can you remind everyone?
Hannah,
Hannah, can you remind everyone about the campaign she tried to set up?
Oh my fucking god. Right. What was it? Turn your backs at 65.
Turn your back on 65.
Yeah, it's the whole Save Our Seniors campaign.
Oh my god, like 4 people turn round. I've never seen something so embarrassing in my whole life.
And they turned around and watched the big screens, right?
Yeah, they did. They carried on watching the game. They carried on buying their beer. They carried on buying their pies. But yeah, about 4 people turned round, including the bloke in front of me, which cracked me up.
Yeah, I don't understand. Oh, sorry, that's a complete lie. I understand exactly why people do certain things, like the Anthulites of this world, and the reason why they do it is I can't. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they just want some fame. You know, she was in the spotlight. She's not anymore, and so let's start another campaign. Why don't you just go and become a PR manager? Stop working for the NHS.
She said that too.
I know, but just I don't like. I could understand if this was hurting us. Does she not understand the Europa League format? We don't play the same team away. It's not they're going to come at us and they go, right, because you charged us £70 for the ticket, we're going to do the same to you. I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, it drives me fucking potty. I don't get what's going on.
Well, it's brilliant if you think about it, because I would assume Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is the number 1 or number 2 destination in all of Europa League for away fans to go visit. Not just the stadium itself. You're playing against Tottenham. You're visiting London. It's brilliant to say, no, I don't want a cap on these prices because these people are coming anyway. So we might as well make as much money as we can.
Exactly. I'll say, like, just adding on to this, when we played Red Star in the Champions League a few years ago, their fans were reportedly banned from attending the stadium. There were still about 1,000 of them all showed up in, I think it's like the northeast corner. But these fans from overseas, they want to come to London. They want to come and watch us. Let them pay whatever they want, you know? Because the other fans overseas, they still got to get us over there, you know, for the interest and support on that side. So, yeah, I agree. Fuck it, rinse the fuckers.
Oh, imagine if we as fans saw other clubs capitalising on those things that you just said, Joe, and we weren't doing it. You'd get the same amount of outrage if we weren't doing those things. So, like you said, capitalise on it. I don't understand why are you so angry about a business being run like a business, a successful, sustainable business. Honestly, it blows my mind.
Well, it's one of 2 things, and it's maybe both, but misery loves company, and the virtual signaling that we have in today's day and age is just far and above anything we've ever seen. And it's people wanting to be outraged and to make it seem like they're doing something good, and that's why they're doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. But this is what makes me laugh. Do they not see the irony in that situation that
No.
they set up these grifty little campaigns through the trust or individually with a large following to make their followers or whoever are followers of the trust, make them think that they are supporting them and doing something for fans, but they're not. It's just a platform for them. So you sit there and you expect a billionaire to start caring about normal people. They don't. No billionaire does. Like, Daniel Levy's not special in that regard. But you're no better by effectively tricking people into thinking that you're doing something for them. You're not. It's for you. Just own it.
And listen, as an outsider, and I've seen this not just from American Spurs supporters, but, you know, if you follow like Ghana Spurs, right? Or some other supporting club from around the world, you don't see that shit from them. You don't see that kind of rhetoric. It's directly within England itself. And I think it's a very small percentage of people who are doing it.
Yeah, I think it's what I said earlier, right, on the group, where people seem to get confused about supporting Spurs and about supporting the football community. I don't personally give a fuck about the football community. I don't care. It doesn't interest me. They call us Spursy. Why would I fucking care about them? I care about us. How does Ange say I care about us, our fucking game? That's what I care about. I don't care about them. I was going to say I don't get it. Of course I get it. I get it, and it's because certain people they need that limelight. They crave it. They can't do without it. They need that celebrity status. And look at me, I'm the white knight. I'm doing this for you. You're not. You're doing it for yourself. Stop it. Don't bother. It's not helping anyone. It's not even helping yourself, because here we are giving you airtime. Sorry, Hannah, I know you didn't want us to, but I did, and I did say I wouldn't mention any names, but the podcast is called what it's called now, and or this show, should I say, this episode, and yeah, it just.
It makes me question. Before we move on, it does make me question if these people with this rhetoric, if they ultimately do want success for our club, what happens when we get it? Where does their narrative go? And what do they do about their personalities that they formed around this?
Because they're winning right now. They're winning right now.
But we said this before, Joe. I don't know if you heard a couple of episodes ago that it's the easy default position to pick. We didn't win a trophy. We're Spursy. We're losers. Ange out. That's the easiest side of the fence to sit on. So what happens when we're on the other side? Are you going to be Levy in? Are you going to take the purple and gold out your bio? Are you going to stop listing all the transfers and how fucking useless they are? Like, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to get a job? So, that's where I'm at.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And, I remember when we heard about the turn your back on 65, I was outraged. Do you remember? I lost my shit. You want to turn your back on our players, our own players. You want to you pay to go to the stadium. You've paid your money. You've gone to the stadium on average. I would love to know what the average spend was. With like 1 pint, 2 pints of beer, maybe some food. What are we talking? How much? How much are we talking? 20 quid?
Probably with your tickets. I'll probably say you're probably looking at about 120 all in.
Right. So then you've paid to see entertainment, but you're turning your back because someone who you don't know has asked you to, because if you do that, then what's going to happen is maybe the club is going to listen to these people.
All four of them.
Yeah, what planet do you live on? Where does this ever happen?
It was like that one prick last season who decided that he's not going to celebrate any more goals until Levy's gone. But yet he's sitting in the goddamn stadium.
We know exactly who you're talking about.
He's sitting in the goddamn stadium, paying for beers, paying for his ticket, but won't celebrate his team scoring. What a daft prick that guy is.
Oh, it's an outrage.
I'll send you his address. He lives in Muswell Hill. He's actually a friend of ours. Look.
It was satirical.
Yeah, it was satirical, right? He was just.
But the fact
I fucking
that it's
hope
believable,
so.
It was.
That it is believable says a lot, doesn't it? Because there are actually people in our fan base like that. So.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sorry to that guy if he's listening to this. Great fucking acting, dude. Great job. You totally pulled the wool over my eyes. I thought you were the biggest prick ever.
I've just changed this episode name to Eray. Okay, there you go. It's just that's his name, by the way, Eray. No, Eray's great. Just to let you know, yeah, he's fantastic.
Well, now that I know that, that's definitely somebody I can have a pint with. That's pretty fucking gold.
Yeah, just don't kiss him. So, sorry. Right, before we go, we've got them locked down the road, haven't we? In when is it? Not this. Is it 15th. Saturday?
15th.
Is that Saturday, Sunday? Sunday. Do you want to say anything about that?
Although everyone will be back, right? So.
Yeah, Mickey should be back. Solanke should be back. Richie probably on the bench. Rodrigo isn't going on international duty. That's
banned,
good.
Isn't he? Yeah,
he's banned for 4 games. So I think he'll miss the next 2 breaks. So that's quite good.
Van de Ven stayed back too.
Yeah, exactly. It's win-win.
Yeah. What was the issue with him? It's not his knee, apparently. It's something else.
Well, it obviously hit that hyperextension, but whoever I was listening to, because I have a jailbroken like cable system, so I get to watch like 4 different channels of broadcasts. I don't know who I was listening to, but
Oh,
the commentator said that he picked up a knock in training. So I think that's what it was. He was training and then got a knock.
Oh, okay.
yeah, because Ange said he almost made the trip, but they felt with the international break, there was just no point in risking him, basically. So
Yeah.
James,
he should be back. Me?
little James, yeah. Do you remember what I said in the pub, my prophecy about Van de Ven?
To be honest, Hannah, of that many pints, I
Actually,
probably
yeah,
couldn't
that's
even remember your
completely fair.
name.
I'll drop it.
What? No, go on. Tell us. What did you say?
Okay, so before the game, so that night I'd had a dream, and I had a dream that Mickey was going to get injured before the next game,
Oh wow.
and yeah, there we are. So it's my fault.
That's the
everyone.
worst. That's the worst version of Martin Luther King I've ever heard.
I'm sorry,
Jesus Christ.
I'm a Pisces.
So what do you think is going to happen then against Arsenal?
Oh man, if we have a fully healthy squad and not too many players out on international duty, I'm assuming Sar and Basuma, Udagi will all be out. I haven't seen those squads yet, but we should have a pretty fresh squad for that. And it's the North London Derby. Anything can happen, you know. The way they're playing, I haven't been completely sold on the way Arsenal's playing right now. They're there for the taking. I think it's a good break for us to go on international break. I think it's a good reset, and these guys will come back hungrier than ever. So I'm going for a 2-2 draw if you're taking predictions, but I think it's going to be a hard-fought match.
I 2-2. Hannah?
Wait, 2-2 was going to be my prediction as well. That was my last prediction as well, which sadly did not come in, but that's what I was thinking.
Great.
So we don't know who's out, do we?
What, of theirs or
Like,
ours?
international for us.
I think
got-
there's no one really staying. I think Madison, Spence.
We've got no England.
Bentancur,
We've got no England
Werner.
players, have we? So there's
No.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
a
got
lot
no
of
England
the
players.
team are on the fucking physiotherapy benches. but yeah, I don't know if
I
Cora
think-
got called up actually.
Yeah, I didn't see anything for that. I hope Udagi does because he has looked a little rusty. I mean, he didn't play much of the preseason at all. If he can get 60 minutes in 2 games, I'd be thrilled with that. That way he comes back with a little more under his belt.
Yeah, he has been called up. Doggy has, as is
Okay.
Vicario. So that's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying with a Doggy because I think the same is for Romero as well. And I think Alistair Gold was saying a similar point. Really, they do just look a little bit out of sorts towards the end of games, and the more minutes in their legs they can get, the better for us. So those guys at this stage, yeah, I'm happy to go on overseas. But the fact Madison stay in, Bentancur stay in, and a few other key players aren't travelling, I'm quite happy to see.
I don't know how those South Americans and the Sun types travel halfway around the world and then come back and within 3 days have to play a match. It's dumbfounding to me how they can do that. Granted, they're probably flying private. They're being treated like baby cows, like veal, right? They're putting shea butter all over themselves. I don't know how they take care of themselves, but that's a lot of travel.
I don't know. They're all right.
It's insane.
Well, look, when I think Argentina play, is it tonight? I
I
think.
think it's Thursday.
Oh shit! I thought it was tonight.
And it's in Buenos Aires, so obviously they're playing, all the way at the tip of the world. But that's a long amount of travel. I mean, I think a few of our guys have done that travel without even playing a match. So it's fucking bewildering.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Argentina are playing on Friday and then Tuesday, which is pretty ideal because game's on Sunday, right? Against
Which one?
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So that means like Romero's got almost a full week to sort of recover, I guess.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Arsenal have got Rice out, which is good. So that means a really shit midfield from them. Martinelli's dog ass. That they don't seem to be firing on all cylinders. Which is a similar theme as before. Like, I don't think they've looked particularly brilliant in the games they've played. So I reckon we have them 3-1 personally.
Ooh. I say 3-2. Has Josh finished shagging? So we can ask him what his prediction is. I don't know. Yeah. While that happens, let's go through some of these other questions. We've got a few. George, George again. Don't follow 1882.
Joe's not familiar with
Here we
George,
go.
is he?
No, I don't think you are. Joe, you need to follow. Don't follow 1882. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Following Kulusevski's impression of being a striker, what is your best impression, and can you demonstrate? I'll send you all fish fingers if you can do Ricky Sacks.
Oh, fucking hell.
I don't think we've got enough time in the podcast
Well,
to do a Ricky Sacks impression. That'd be a whole other pod.
First of all, if you had a visual, you have to tilt your head about 45 degrees during the entire podcast, because that's the way he looks.
He's like that in real life.
It's almost like either he broke something in his neck, or he's just genuinely concerned about every single word that's coming out of his mouth.
It can't be the latter. If you've listened to him, it can't be that, can it?
No, it cannot. No.
Can you? Well, look, you seem to know him better than I do. Can you do a Ricky Sacks impression? You've got 22 minutes. Go ahead.
Man, how do I get the inflection of his voice? It's almost like, yeah, I can't do it because I haven't listened to that damn podcast in years now.
He speaks really quickly, doesn't he? Like trying to get everything out in one breath.
Yeah, most definitely. It's almost like a Japanese with an
You actually sounded like him.
Yeah.
Right,
Hang on, we've got to hear Joe's British accent. We did this
Yeah.
to Johnny.
Yeah. What's your British accent?
Well, it depends on what part of the country I'm coming from, right? So
Ooh,
Kent.
cultured.
no, I can't. Kent. Oh, that's very.
Just sound like Hannah.
Hang on, it's very what?
No, it's very northern, and
Wait,
the
sorry.
way that the way that I have to do this is talk a little bit slower.
Joe.
To
babe,
make-
I've
to make
not
sure-
had a stroke.
It's almost like you have to pretend to be posh to have a Kent accent, correct?
Okay, I feel seen. That's rude.
It's all right. It's almost like the southern accent here, right? Every southerner sounds like an absolute retard. So
Oh, this gets better.
sorry for the word.
Why
don't
are you sorry?
apologise.
Yeah.
Double down if
It's the
anything,
word.
personally.
It's the application of the word.
Yeah, it's the application. Gotcha. I'm
the
trying to
direction it
establish.
went.
I'm trying to establish my presence with authority on this podcast now. All right, so I have to take the Mickey out of you.
Yeah.
All right. So at Spurs Chiefs Willie says, Willie B, Big Willie. Right. With the next 5 fixtures, will Spurs get any flair from our forwards? Son, Richarlison, Werner, so 4, Solanke, Brennan. So next 5 fixtures, then lot down the road, Coventry, Brentford, Qarabag and Man U. Todge, over to you.
Yes, bruv. So is he saying how the next 5 games are going to be, basically? Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit, I'm just reading Sterling trying to be fit to face us. That's fun. Yeah, look, always try to be realistic but positive. I think we have a good run of games to go into. I don't think any of them are really sort of shining too brightly. I don't think Coventry have had a particularly amazing start to the new championship season. I don't think Brentford are that great of a side. Carabag, God, what even are they? And United are just a mess on the whole, really. I think we'll see 5 wins from 5. I think we'll see some good rotation in the cup competitions and Europa League. Get some minutes to the youngsters, the likes of Werner as well, and rotate the teams. I think we'll do very comfortably. Dare say, I think we'll keep at least 4 clean sheets in that run as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I love the positivity. I love it. 2-2 draw to Arsenal, like I said before. That might be a bloodbath. Coventry, I think, is a 1-1 draw, and then we win in penalties. Brentford, they're playing well. They're 2 games on the bounce now. I think they looked very, very impressive last match. Mbuemo, I don't know how you pronounce it, but that was somebody that I thought was a really high profile for us to go after. But I don't think they were going to get rid of him knowing that Tony was out the door. Carabag at home, you can pretty much, put that in the bag. No pun intended. And then United, like you said, I think all of those 4 matches after Arsenal will depend on how we play versus Arsenal. United, who knows if by that time the couple players that they've brought in, if they're going to be starting in their 11 by then. It looks as though what's his name, that striker they bought, and what's the situation with the Dane forward that they have, or Norwegian? Is he
Højlund.
out for Højlund? Is he out for an extended period?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I'm not that arsed about any of their players. I don't think they've got any real concerning quality, personally.
Yeah.
I really just... I don't rate anyone in that United side, and I don't think any of their players would get into our starting 11, personally.
But you do rate their manager, clearly. I can't let that one go.
Yeah. All I was trying to say is he was, from the Ajax days, he was playing for very good football. And from what they were having previously with Solskjaer...
what did you call him?
What?
What did you call him? Say his name
Call
again.
who?
What was this? What did you just... You just said his name, someone's name. What did you call him?
What? Solskjaer.
Solskjaer?
Solskjaer, Mourinho, Van
you're
Gaal.
You're dead to me.
Oh, come on.
Mate, I wasn't born in the 1812s, mate, alright? I don't know his name.
Well, I think just his selection alone sort of shows what kind of manager he is. The fact that Garnacho has not started the last 2 matches and Rashford has. Rashford, I don't know what the hell happened to that guy. His drive just isn't there. I think a change of scenery would do him so well. But the fact that Garnacho has been on the bench for them and they've started this Ahmad kid, that just goes to show me that he doesn't know who his best 11 are. So I think we can nick that off of them for sure. That would be great. Another, 6-1 at Old Trafford?
That'd be tidy, isn't it? But it depends if Ten Hag's kept in the job. I've seen a few rumours circulating that his time's done, basically, which I'd be very shocked at, given how the new ownership group over there are trying to play things, but at the same time, you just can't let that manager carry on, can you, realistically? There's just nothing there. They've not progressed at all. So if he's still in charge, it'll be an absolute whitewash. But if he's not, then who knows? who knows in this world?
Well, knowing our luck, they'll sack him right before our match, and they'll get that new manager push for the Tottenham match.
Oh, you know it. You know it too well.
Always the case. Right, so one last question before Hannah asks Joe to do something. And that is, Hannah, this is to you actually. Who
Dance,
of Spurs...
monkey, dance.
No, it's easier than that. Who of Spurs Twitter
Cheaper
who
as well.
covers Spurs in podcasts, etc., or who cover... I think it's either or. So from Twitter, Spurs Twitter, or who has a Spurs podcast, would you like to punch in the throat? You can only pick one.
See, I have one. Josh has a list. Which would you prefer me to start with?
Yours.
Okay, Stelios, Tottenham away. Next question.
Why?
Because he's a bellend. He's perpetually negative, and he wears a fedora, so...
He doesn't.
He does. Empty cabernet, honestly. Suck your mum.
Tell us what you really think. I mean, Joe, what about you? You can't mention any of us.
No, it's an absolute landslide. It's not even close. It's the one and only Lee McQueen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was expecting that.
I like Lee.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, but I don't know. He's just it just seems like one of those type of personalities where, yes, he is a little holier than thou. He's pretty arrogant. I don't know. I like some of his takes, but just watching him sort of makes me cringe. But that's all right. Whatever. I had to name someone, so there you go.
Yeah, everyone's got their thing.
I like
Exactly.
it.
Todd, you?
Oh, fuck. It's one person, isn't it?
Yeah, just one.
Oh, shit. That is tough. That is really fucking tough. I'd just because they're on my timeline so often, it'd have to be that World of Hotspur account. Oh my lord! I don't think anything positive has come from that individual besides tests for HIV and being a complete cunt.
And he passed.
They're a complete whack stain. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another
cool.
completely negative account, isn't it? Just like
Yeah,
cry wanking
just like-
in the mirror over how much you hate TV.
Literally, I'm like, mate, get a fucking grip. He's probably about 48 years old, and he's just ranting on Twitter
Feed
about
your
a bald
kids,
bloke in
fuck's
Enfield.
sake.
Literally, get a grip. Go and try sort of date someone. Go outside.
Gardening.
Literally,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
Oh god, sad little virgins everywhere.
Mine's it's a difficult spelling, so I'll just spell it out, right? It's ANTHOULLA1. Hannah, can you ask our new friend Joe or can you tell him what he needs to do?
What does he need to do?
You know.
Message Anthula, tell her stop being a twat.
No, not that. What do you say at the end of each podcast? You beg our listeners to.
Yes, I do beg as well. It's really funny you say that. So this is the point, Joe, that we beg for reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to do that? We're on Apple Podcasts and we're on Spotify.
Everywhere, we're everywhere, actually.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, even on Audible.
Shameless.
Can you believe it?
Just like HIV, we're everywhere.
Shameless plug. Shameless. So you need me to do a plug for this podcast, correct?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
In your
can you-
lovely American accent.
Can you do it now? Actually, can you just if you got an iPhone?
I am, but I can't get off of my iPhone. What is this podcast called again?
Oh God! Are you gonna fit right in?
Wait, that was really mean or really genius. I'm not sure. Well, since you asked, Joe.
Oh my
just-
gosh.
Just search for on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Audible if you want, or YouTube Music. YouTube Music's a good one for Hotspur Way, and we're there.
Perfect. Yeah. So,
Do you often
are
sign
we
up for
recording?
things you don't know what you're
Are we
doing?
recording? We've been recording for the last, just 1 minute. We've been
I
recording.
just see Joe signing up for like a clinical trial and not realising why he's there. And then coming out like Elephant Man. Like, I just don't know how this happened.
I am unvaxxed. I am not a guinea pig. I really appreciate the time you guys allowed me to speak today. I think I do have.
But now you sound like a Jehovah's Witness.
No, the way that I deal with those people when they come to my door is just tell them I'm on my way to a birthday party, so I can't speak with them. So if you know, Jehovah's Witnesses, they do not actually celebrate birthdays. Anyways, yes, you can anywhere you can find a podcast. Hotspur Way will be your one and only podcast you need to catch up on every single week, whether it's Amazon, Audible, or any other podcast central platform you listen to.
Oh, that was
Do
sensational.
you see how he did it, Hannah? Why can't you do it like that?
Listen.
I'm listening.
That's not what we do. It's oi.
Oi, do it now.
I'm sick
Kent.
of asking, quite frankly.
Kent Massives is coming after you. Right,
I feel like I sounded like an Aussie doing an American accent there, so sorry about that.
It's probably not that far off, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it then. Oh, you want to say something else?
Yeah, if I could just plug mine. You guys got me off of Twitter, so anybody listening to this who would like to have some friendly banter, I'm at Gobo49 on X. And, give a follow. I've gained quite a following over the last couple weeks. I love the positivity of most of us. The negativity could go to fucking wayside for all I care. Just continuing to support Spurs and our squad. But I appreciate everything, guys. Thank you.
Cool.
Love that. Well, James's laptop died, so I think we're going to have to
Wrap
sign
it
off
up.
without him.
All right, say goodbye, Hannah.
Love you, bye.
Say goodbye, Joe.
Much love, guys. Thank you.
And bye for me. 1 minute. Let me just save this. Done. That was all right.
That was fun.
It was. You were joking
sorry.
about not knowing our podcast, right? I need to know. Or you really...
Has he gone?
He's gone. By the way, I'm keeping all that in. We can't replace Johnny. We
I
can't.
miss you, Johnny.
Oh God!
He was
Did you
good,
get?
though.
I know
good.
he was. Did you get
Yeah.
flowers for Johnny's grave?
Oh,
not yet.
don't. I miss Johnny.
We all miss him.
He's not in the chat much anymore either.
I know. No more dick pics. It's a shame. They used to take up so much bandwidth.
He used to send him in 2 parts.
He had to zip them.
Maybe we could have like a middle of the page spread in our book. Like those concertina pages.
It'll blind you.
Going.
By the way, anyone who's still with us, we're talking about Stinky Dick. So Stinky Dick will be finalised in the next 17 years, and the pop-up version will blind you. So wear goggles. Right, that's it from us then. Say goodbye again, Hannah.
Love you, bye.
And goodbye for me. Bye.